In the previous video, we created a component quote using roofing components. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can order the materials from a quote directly to save time. First, you want to head to the orders page. Then click Order from Quote. You can create a custom order where you start with a blank order form and you add each item manually, but this is much faster if you already quoted most of the items. We have three options for the order layout: line by line, single column, which allows you to add images, and double column. Same thing, it's just a double column. We'll use double column. Now we need to select the quote we want to order from. Let's select the quote we created in the previous tutorial. Great, create order. Now you can select which lines you want to include or exclude from the order. You can deselect or select all, or you can go through and deselect the items you don't want to order. So we won't be ordering a delivery fee, but I think everything else we can probably order from this roofing supplier. Now this is the order editor. Here is the header section, which you can either fill in manually or you can create a header template from the resources page. I've created this as a test header, but the idea here is you create different headers for different suppliers and it saves time typing everything in per order. You can add a color if you want. Let's go with black. You can add a delivery date, and you can add the delivery address, which was Lot 4, 123 Roofing Lane, New York, from our quote. You can add notes here if you need, and then you can add your company logo, your company name, contact person, contact number, and the date that it was sent, or the date it was created. Next, minimize the header section so you can see the order form. On the left side, you've got all your components. These are the components that we quoted. They get pre-populated here. As you hover, it shows you which one is which in the preview for the order. Here's that header that we just filled out too. All your components and items are in here. Some of them have images applied already. The barge flashing component, we've attached this flashing drawing, and the hip flashing has this image attached. We'll add an image to this parapet cap too, then show you how to create some custom lengths. For example, the hip flashing has this Y variable. I'll show you how we can use that to apply specific angles or values to a length. But over here on the left side again, you click each item to expand it. It allows you to open and edit. You can change everything. You can change the name. You can change the image that's attached. You can then add more lengths or areas to a component. So if you wanted to add another barge flashing length, or you wanted to remove one, you can. There's an advanced option, I'll show you that soon. Now it's added those lengths, so we save. So here we've got those lengths now showing in the order. When I expand our underlay component, you can show the name, hide the name, show the measurements, hide the measurements. Remember, this specific component's item pricing is calculated per roll. So we have 5 rolls to cover roughly 232 square meters, or area squared. From memory, they are a 50 square meter roll. That's what we defined them as. So it's allowing us to order 5 rolls that could cover 250 square meters. And this is sometimes where you don't want to get caught out quoting from only an area amount, because if you purchase that item in rolls or packs, you might underquote that item. If you win the job, you actually need to order more items than you quoted. This system helps you avoid that, with flexibility to change it later. Now shingles, again, another item that we price per quantity. So this shows 13 packs to cover this much area. TPO membrane is another area-based component, which, to be honest, we should probably price per roll as well. This is a good example of why it could be a problem, only pricing per area squared or length when ordering the product. Spouting, pretty self-explanatory. And you can obviously add all sorts of extras to the spouting if needed, whether it's joins, corners, outlets, or droppers. They can be components too. We've got hip flashings and ridge flashings, parapet caps. So yeah, everything here can be edited, add, remove, drawings. Just for reference, these drawings, you can go to the Resources tab and then open the Drawings page. And you can either upload or draw a new image, and then that image will be saved to this list that you can select from. Here's the standing seam component. Okay, so standing seam is priced per meter squared. It shows the total area, but that's only useful for quoting. You probably need to order this item per length. So we will need to figure out the cover, then order the sheets to length for each face. So we'll open the editor, and remember it was a 5 meter long or 5 meter by 10 meter area. So the sheet lengths, once you've actually got a sheet length, you might say, I need 10 lengths to cover that area at 5 meters long. So we add that. Now we're ordering 10 lengths of standing seam long run at 5 meters long each. Of course, you may be roll forming your standing seam long run on site with your own machine, in which case you just need to order enough metal coil to cover the area squared plus waste. That's when you can use the area squared figure. But always remember to account for the actual cover per length versus area squared, which is calculated exactly per meter, foot, or roofing square wide. This system allows you to order any type of long run roof material, whether it's cut to length corrugate long run, or you're ordering a coil to roll your own lengths on site. Let's edit this hip flashing component. You can see it's got the Y here and these 90-degree corners each side, but there's no angle value for Y. This system allows flexibility to create multiple angles for one drawing. Let's say this flashing drawing needs to be able to account for different angles to cover both hip flashings and ridge flashings, which need different bend angles. We know we've got 3 lengths at 7.7. Let's replace these lengths so we can add new ones that include the bend angle. Then select the advanced option. Now this advanced section gives us unlimited flexibility to create specific variables depending on what you draw or have in your attached image. This one we have a Y, and we add the value. Let's say it's a 25-degree roof. From memory, it's around 145 degrees. But wait, here's a great example of, well, how do I know angle value to put here? You can use our hand angle calculator right here from clicking this button. We know that it's a 25-degree roof. Let's calculate the angle for the hips. And let's say we're doing 4 hips. 4 hips on a 25-degree roof. So this box ticked here means that the roof faces are 25 degree everywhere. There's not a 25 degree face running into a 35 degree face creating a funky angle, that it's all 25 degree faces that meet at 90 degree angles, creating either valleys or hips. So we leave that as it is. We calculate, and this is the finished angle. So 145.2 exactly. Clip the button. It copies the value to the clipboard, Control-C, or paste it into the value area. And now we change this from millimeters, meters, or foot inches to degrees. Save it, and you can see here there's our 4 lengths at 7.7, and the Y angle is bent at 145 degrees. Now this is really important because next you might do the ridge. We do the exact same thing. Back to the calculator, you change this to rafter pitch. We've also got all these tooltips here, which tells you what's what. The ridge, 25 degrees, calculate, and now you've got your ridge angle there. If you do have a roof with different pitch faces meeting at the peak, just untick that box and type each face's pitch value. It will auto-calculate what you need. Copy and paste that angle value in again, and now we've got our ridge and our hip angles all calculated for the factory to bend. Those now will save, and as you can see, that's how it shows up. So very easy to customize your orders for specific angles to be bent for flashings, and that's just showing an example with one variable. You can add as many variables to a flashing as you want, and I'll show you another version of that with the Parapet cap drawing. Right now, Parapet caps have no image attached. I've already drawn this image earlier, so we'll add this drawing, which has 3 variables. You can see we've already predetermined the angle that needs to be bent in the corners, allowing for roughly 10 degrees fall on the top of the cap. So let's add these other variables. Again, let's remove the existing lengths without the variables. I'll just do an example for one length. Let's make it 5 meters long, and we'll do 2 of these where the X value is 150 millimeters. So we've got that here. We could choose meters, but for these flashings we will use millimeters, or inches if you're using imperial units. We add that. Now the Y variable we want to be, let's say, 200 millimeters. And now Z will make that 120 millimeters. And obviously, you could just keep creating extra values in here where you could also determine the angle. and all you do is put a value, the letter, or any symbol you're using to show a length or angle. So it might be 90 degrees or 79 degrees, and you change the angle like we did with the ridge or the hip example. And so now you've got these three. We'll add these and save, and now you've got one 5-meter length, and these are your values that Z, Y, and X need to be. You can obviously do this for multiple different lengths, but that is essentially how you would create your order. And there's a lot of customizability. This is just an example. You can switch layout to single column here, which makes your images bigger, so maybe that layout suits you better. We'll leave it as double column, and we'll save the order. Once you've saved it, you can do a lot more things. We can download the order, we can print it, edit it, and we can now also send or order it. I'll quickly show you what the supplier or factory will see when you send the order using a URL link. Here's the order now. You've got your header, you've got everything that we created in a printable way. They can accept this, they can decline it, they can request more info, they could download and print it themselves, and this will open up a printable version that makes sure nothing gets cut off and fits the pages. But this is how you can create a roofing materials order with custom-made flashings from a quote.